This is Providence Television International, the toast of today's television viewers. Don't be left out.
Not just the toast, we are the game changer. This is actually the interview session on the morning drive, Providence Television International. My name is Ogbebo Ikekwa, and with me in the studio is Dr. Emmanuel Egariba. You're welcome.
Yes, as usual, I'm here. Even though I'm so busy in my office, but I feel compelled to be here on a daily basis because there are issues that we need to discuss, at least from the standpoint of this organization. And I'm happy that a lot of our viewers from across the world, they are quite happy about what we are doing, encouraging us to even do more. Okay, maybe from time to time we'll reel out the names of people who send in notes, would have us on telephone lines and things like that. So we are very happy about them. I want to urge them to continue to do what they are doing. Is a tonic that we need to rise higher. So I say good morning to you all once again.
Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate it. I actually feel quite elated. It is not all the time that you have your chief executive officer sitting with you in the studio. So many media outfits do not have that opportunity. Once again, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And so we'll get straight down to the topic of the day, which is incessant tanker explosions. We'll look at the causes and the remedies. But let us start, first of all, causes of tanker explosions, incessant tanker explosions. We've had quite a few over a little period of time now.
Well, basically, I must say that they have become, really, as you said, too incessant, really. And anytime it happens, we have loss of lives, precious lives lost in the process. Why do we have this on a regular basis? One happened in Lagos the other day. One happened close to Ogun State. One happened again up north, I think, around Jos.
Yeah, Jigawa area.
So it happens on a fairly regular basis. And I think the reasons are legion. Why do they happen? Well, first of all, we must say that the state of our roads. You know, these trailers, they fall off our roads, basically, because they are heavy equipment. And they want to maneuver. Something happens and they tip over. That's one. Number two, the driver themselves. There are human errors, obviously. Some of these guys, they drive at night. And they tell you that I don't know why they say that. They tell you that that's the best time to drive such heavy equipment. And sometimes they slip off. Okay. Nature must take its toll. They are tired, they slip off, and their assistants don't help matters. All right. So they drive throughout the night. And they are tired. They get wearied, naturally. And they run into obstacles, and things. So they also tip over on the basis of that. Now, the state of the equipment. And by the way, let me also quickly mention this. Most of them take all kinds of substances.
Okay.
They take, it's a combination of so many things they take, all those drivers. You have what they call can is there. They take that readily. They take snuff. Yeah, they combine all of this. All right. Some of them smoke marijuana in addition to all of this. So they had, I don't know how they manage,
takes a lot.
Quite frankly. I don't know how they manage. They take them, I mean, we know it. They take all these things, okay? And then you drive. There's no respite. You drive throughout the night, okay? They run into buildings and all sorts of things. So they lose concentration. That's one. Number three, the state of the vehicles, particularly now that parts are very expensive. Are they really well maintained?
Okay.
Those vehicles, right? Dangote the other day put up an advertisement and some PhD holders were applying. We remember that very clearly.
Exactly.
And most of these drivers, majority of them are illiterate. They can't even read road signs. They just jump into these vehicles and off they go. Okay? They drive without looking at road signs and things like that. So I think that government must look at particularly the issue of roads.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Now that we have Dangote coming up with the refinery in Lagos, they will load from there and drive long distances. Whereas, ideally, those things, those products, we should use the rail. The rail system is better, is safer. for the goods. You don't put tankers over long distance. Some of them drive up to 600 kilometers.
Okay.
Yes, over 600 kilometers on the road. But ideally, the rail system is better. It happens abroad, by the way. You put this thing, there are special tanks you put on the rails, and off you go. The rail system is such that there are no stoppages, except perhaps you want to do one or two things that are not particularly prone to accidents. So they just go, and very safe for the operators and safe also for the products. Okay, so government must look at that very seriously. This issue of taking tankers on the road. That's one. Number two, why do we have fatalities?
Okay.
Why do we have fatalities? Because most incidents that happen, the tankers burst into flames. Why do they burst into flames? We've gone through this road many, many times in this country. When the product is pouring out, people think it's free, so they go there to scoop. Whereas they go there with metal objects. And when there's a little spark, see, that thing is gas.
Yes.
It's liquid gas.
Yes.
Don't you know? It's liquid gas. Exactly. It explodes and it. I'll give you an instance. Now, if you have petrol here, if you have petrol on the road, dripping on the road, and you go down the line for about maybe a kilometer, you spread petrol down the line to about a kilometer, and you ignite it here, it goes there immediately. Immediately. The speed of lightning. It goes there immediately. Because it's gas. It's gas, liquid gas. That's what petrol is. Okay? So, but people take it for granted. Again, out of greed and out of ignorance. And they have been warned many, many times that, look, when you have such incident, don't go near. Let it pour out. But they go there to scoop. It's even worse now because petrol is so expensive. They go, oh, this is an opportunity. And once it snaps, everybody gets consumed.
Exactly.
Yes. And worse still, they don't just get consumed through these fatalities. They get burnt beyond recognition.
Yes.
Beyond recognition. That's why they've been given mass burial.
Exactly.
Because you can't recognize.
They can't recognize. And if you check, there are different reports now. Some are saying 150, some are saying 180. You don't actually know the number of bodies.
That is the media for you. That's the Nigerian media for you. And it also depends on the kind of organizations we have that manage some of these things. I mean, FRSC should be able to tell us the exact number of people. So, I mean, it's not by permutation. No, but what pains me really is that it's a gory sight.
Yeah.
It's quite gory. You know, sometimes it's not even too good for television stations to show that kind of thing.
That's why we didn't. It's not as if we did not have.
It's too graphic.
Yes.
It's too graphic for our liking. So, but it happens. You see them. Mangled bodies, totally mangled, beyond recognition. And you can imagine the pain and the agony that they go through. Exactly. Excruciating death. And people will not learn. That's the terrible thing about it. They don't learn. Yes, granted that this is fuel just coming out, it's free. It's free for all. But what are the danger that follows?
You made mention of greed. Would I be permitted to disagree with you? If we check us at the time of the Jesse fire, were things not still normally okay as regards finances?
They are going to scoop to sell. Don't you know? The Jesse fire incident, I think that was the beginning of it.
That was the beginning.
Yes, they were going to scoop. Again, poverty. Yeah, they were going to scoop to go and sell at much lower rates. That's what they were doing. Most of them, that's what they were doing. They were going there with buckets. Of course, most of them didn't have vehicles or motorcycles. They didn't have. Yes, and you don't cook with petrol. So what were they going to do with it? They were going to scoop to go and sell to motorists somewhere. Some were 1 kilometer away from the scene, and they were burnt beyond recognition. As I gave an illustration a little while ago, that once you ignite it here, it goes immediately. It's like electricity. It goes immediately. Yes, that's what happened to Jesse. We lost hundreds of people in Jesse. That I don't want to remember it because I covered it. I just started my private business then. Yes, it was covered. Jesse incident. And there have been many down the line. Many uncountable down the line. The same problem. That I'm sure that's what happened in the case of Jigawa. You know, must have gone there to scoop.
And so we're saying that poverty can be tied to it.
Of course, yes. What's your business? I mean, you don't have a vehicle, you don't have a motorcycle. So what's your business at the scene? You don't have any business there. Usually they scoop to go and sell.
Okay.
They scoop free, in quotes. Then they go and sell maybe at about 1,000 naira, or maybe 500 naira a liter. And motorists will jump at it because this is cheap, much cheaper than what you get at a filling station. So it's a big problem. It's a national malaise because they do not learn. They do not learn. If there is a propaganda, I can tell you from now to tomorrow, government rolls out propaganda. The people will not still learn. If there's another incident tomorrow, they will still do the same thing. They forget. Sometimes, not sometimes, most times they go there with metals, metal objects.
Exactly.
In the process of scrambling, it sparks. Fire goes in there. It's ignited, and the whole lot will just go. In one single timeless moment, they go. Single timeless moment, they are all burnt. Yes. Sometimes to ashes. Sometimes, where you go, you can't recognize the bodies. No, it's a pity I'm saying this way, but that should go into the ears of people who have the tendency to do this kind of thing. But of course, we must fix our roads.
Okay.
Yeah, those vehicles too must be properly maintained. To recap what I said earlier on, they must be properly maintained, and drivers too must be tutored. This is the job for FRSC.
Okay.
They should tutor them appropriately. I'm happy though when they came here last week to talk about something. They said, look, it is not normal to drive in the night. Yes. Some of these tanker drivers, they don't see well in the daytime. Then in the night. And they are under the influence of substances. How can they cope? Yes. They drive into the bush and things begin to happen. Yes.
Because I want to mention this, the National Orientation Agency, somebody jokingly told me that the NOA are actually looking for my number. I always mention them on the program all the time. Why am I always calling the National Orientation Agency? Well, is this part of your duty too?
Orientation. What does orientation mean? You have to give people an orientation towards certain values, national values. This is one of them, obviously.
Okay.
They have a lot on their plate. Yes, a lot. I said it before. The NOA, they have a lot on their plate. If they are understaffed, they can say so to the federal government. But they have a lot to teach and to enlighten people about. It's an enlightenment organ. They should not forget that. In collaboration with FRSC, all right? They must work in collaboration with other agencies. But first of all, they must enlighten people. What is wrong in going to the hinterland to tell the people down there that, look, when you have an accident such as this, don't go near. Don't go near. If they do that, can we crucify them? We won't crucify them because they are saying something that is quite positive, that will help lift up our value system. Yes. So that's the way it is.
And so it brings us down to institutions again.
Institutions.
Strengthening institutions.
We must strengthen institutions. We must empower them. Yes, we must empower them adequately. I mean, if you have NO in Edo State, for instance, they should have offices, functional offices in the local government areas. Functional offices. You know, particularly when you have a national disaster such as this. It shouldn't happen before we now start to say one or two things. Okay?
Right.
So there are preventive measures. We mentioned them. Let's fix the roads. Look at the road to Warri. It's still terribly bad. You're going to Warri, you spend almost 5-6 hours. Yes, when tankers go along that kind of road. And those vehicles, because they are so long, they easily tip over. Yes, they easily tip over because of the mechanism that surrounds them. They easily tip over. And usually, I don't know how they do it. The drivers have a way of escaping. You know, when it's tipping over like that, they run away because they know the danger. It is when people now hover around the area that we have disasters.
Yeah, because most of the time, impact, it doesn't just explode.
It doesn't. It doesn't just explode. It flows away.
Yes.
Yeah, it is when people now begin to scoop and they go there with metal objects, buckets, metal buckets. Okay? Some of them will even smoke into the place. This will shock you. Out of ignorance, terrible ignorance. And this thing is highly, can't you see, if you read behind every tanker, highly inflammable. That's what it is. If it falls and it just flows away, it loses traction. As it's flowing away, it loses traction. All right. But when people now gather, that's when we have danger. The driver, have you ever seen a driver of a tanker that falls, that dies? Because as it's falling, he knows the danger. He quickly runs away from the place. Up to 1 kilometer away, he runs. Two of them with his assistant, they run away very quickly. Look at what happened in Delta the other day. Brilliant young man. He was a tanker driver. Something just happened. He was looking for a place to park. It was on the news.
Oh, yes.
He was going
Oh,
around
yes,
through the city and all that. He was looking, shouting, please, please, please. I think it was brake failure.
Yes.
Yes, he was looking for a place. And then suddenly he found a safe haven and he parked the thing there.
Exactly.
Yes. And I think he was given an award by the Delta State government there. He was vigilant. Okay? He was looking for a place desperately because he knew what he was carrying. It's a bomb. Fuel, look, fuel, liquid fuel is a bomb. Because once it explodes, can't you see the flame?
Exactly.
Goes up almost a quarter of a kilometer, up into the sky. Yes, particularly when it is heavy. Some of them carry as much as 33,000 liters.
Yes.
Yes, up to 33,000 liters of fuel. So usually when I see them, I don't go near them. Even when I'm driving, I don't go near them at all because the danger is enormous. Yes, I can park somewhere. Please let him go far. Yes. Because those things, they are quite volatile, extremely volatile. And guess what? Where do you get fire engines when it happens?
Oh.
Where do you get fire engines? So it burns throughout.
Exactly.
Yes.
Well, like I've always said, always a wonderful session with Dr. Emmanuel Legariba. As regards this issue, the fire service in Nigeria, that will be coming up, thoughts and visions. I wouldn't let you know the dates, but just stay tuned. The fire service and how it is going to be improved if it is not improved. We'll be talking about that on Thoughts and Visions of Dr. Emmanuel Legariba coming up very, very soon. But just before we go, Dr. Emmanuel has something to tell us.
Well, people should just be careful. We'll continue to drum it into their ears because these accidents, I don't pray they happen often. But suppose they do, people must learn. Let us even have billboards with graphics. Government can do that. All right? Billboards all over the place. Obviously telling the people the dangers involved in very graphic terms. And I believe that this will create opportunities to avoid such disasters. Now, the last point before we go, please, we have a business enterprise that goes by the name Providence Properties. That's it on the screen. We are into buying and selling of properties, estate developers, property management. Please come. We have experts on ground who will be able to attend to your needs. But it's in addition to what we are doing, to the glory of God, there is an expansion in our business. Providence Properties and Providence Television, all within the same vicinity. Must thank the good Lord for that, for giving us the vision. So it's a plus for us, and we're hoping that to continue to be Providence all the way. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Providence all the way. This is Providence Television International, the game changer. To get us on YouTube, just simply go to your YouTube and just type in Providence Television International. And like my boss would always say, you're good to go. But don't go away as our next program comes up soon.